It is July 16th, 2016. This is the Watchman News. I'm Mike Callahan. So, ever since the coup yesterday, I've been trying to figure this out. Especially in the beginning, there was conflicting reports on who was doing it and all that kind of information that often gets messed up in the beginning. But today, an article came out in RT that is very concerning to me. The link will be in the About tab or description tab. Local authorities block access to airbase in Turkey that houses U.S. nukes. Movement in and out of the Incirlik airbase in southern Turkey was blocked on Saturday by local military authorities. The NATO base stores U.S. tactical nuclear weapons. Access to the base has now been restored and flights are again allowed in its airspace, Daily Sabah reports, citing the U.S. consulate in Turkey. Local authorities are denying movements onto and off of Incirlik Air Base. The power there has also been cut. The U.S. consulate in Adana said in a message, "Please avoid the airbase until normal operations have been restored." It added, no further details were provided. According to CNN, power to the facility was also cut. The closure of the airspace reportedly led to a halt in U.S. airstrikes against Islamic State, IS, formerly ISIS and ISIL. CNN was told by sources that the Turkish authorities did make an exception for U.S. aircraft that had already been deployed on missions before the airspace was shut and allowed them to land at the base. The airspace was closed for Turkish authorities to complete anti-coup operations at the base, where some of the servicemen are suspected of supporting the failed Friday night military uprising. They have now been arrested, Turkish officials say. The U.S. will continue to cooperate with Turkey in its fight against ISIS. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said during his visit to Luxembourg, U.S. cooperation with Turkey within NATO, as well as operations in Syria, have not been affected by the coup attempt, Kerry said, adding that the cooperation continues as before. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, had to adjust its operations against Islamic State to account for the lockdown on Incirlik Air Base, TASS reported, citing sources in Pentagon. The Incirlik Air Base is of critical importance to the U.S. military, as not only does it facilitate the U.S. aerial operations against terrorists in neighboring Syria and Iraq, but it is also one of 6 NATO sites in Europe that house tactical nuclear weapons. The exact number of tactical nuclear bombs at the base is classified, although some reports put it at 50 or even 90. A group within the Turkish military attempted to stage a coup on Friday night using tanks and attack helicopters. The conspiracy failed, as they didn't manage to capture any senior government officials and couldn't win wide support from the Turkish military. According to the Turkish Prime Minister, at least 265 people have been killed, including 104 pro-coup participants, while 1,440 people were injured in military action in Istanbul and Ankara overnight. Since the plot crumbled, 2,839 soldiers and officers involved in the coup attempt have been arrested. My concern with this is we know there was an attempt to get nuclear missiles from the East Coast. I believe it was the East Coast that was blocked. My concern is that this entire thing, this entire coup, was simply to divert attention while they moved nuclear weapons from this base. I can't confirm any of it, but I just thought that was an interesting story, and the fact that the power is cut, and of course the number of missiles there is classified anywhere between 50 and 90. Well, that's a little bit of a strain, 40 missiles is quite a bit when you're talking about nukes. So I would say to stay vigilant as always. Keep your eyes peeled for any more reports. And, wow, pray for the best.